Hey guys, it's Together Out Loud, episode 6. I'm Samantha. And
And this is Jason. I'm writing my notes down as always. She's always super ready to start it out when I'm not ready.
oh, well, I thought you were done writing your notes. And it's 12 o'clock, like we said. But, so we'll just review a little bit, or I'll review a little
I'm
bit.
gonna turn this up a little bit so I can make sure we're. Yeah, mine's not even on anyway. So. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit so. Oh wait, maybe it is.
What are you talking about?
My mic.
Yeah, your mic's on.
Okay.
You
Tell
didn't.
me.
How did you know? You didn't think it was on?
No, I didn't think it was on.
Oh, yeah, I turned it on before I gave it to you. But so this is episode 6. In the last episode, we talked about date nights on a budget, and we actually
And can you invite friends too?
me.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know how to do it.
I was gonna say you should invite people. It's the little arrow.
This one.
Yep. Just in case you have people on that would want to join.
Sorry, I'm inviting people. I don't know some of these people.
That's all right. Just send it.
I'm sending it. Okay. So in the last episode, we talked about dating on a budget, which we actually like taking the kids to places more than together. But we are lucky enough that we have family members that watch them, and we can even go right down the road to a cafe. So we talked a little bit about that. We also talked about small habits that keep you connected, like touch, holding hands, saying I love you, just the obvious ones to keep you connected, and even just checking in. We talk to each other all day long when we're at work even. And so I think that's something that helps to keep us connected, the little things that keep us to get connected. The difference between emotional and physical connection, not just the obvious reasons, but just what we found to be more important. And we also talked about how we handle intimacy with kids and alone time with kids. Teaching them to be respectful of our time. And as one is coming into the kitchen right now. And so that's basically
I don't have my watch, so do you want to set a timer?
That's basically what we talked about last week. Sorry, I'm going to set. Can you shut that door, please?
What are you doing, by the way?
And we're navigating this time that we devote to ourselves and to the podcast. As you can see, we are still kind of figuring out and reminding the kids that they need to be a little bit respectful as we do this. But this is another thing that you can do to kind of stay connected, is take time to yourselves to talk. We're not just talking to you guys, we're talking to each other. And the conversations that we have on the podcast, we have every day, even without a podcast. So that's why we thought it would be fun to get other people's opinions and to get other people involved. Whoever, if you're married, in a relationship, single, afraid to date, or are dating and won't want to know what the future may hold, whatever the case may be, we just are kind of winging it, and these are just things that we find important that we want to talk about. But we're also open to anything that you guys want to talk about. We have an email, tolpodcast15@gmail.com. So you can email us anything that you'd like us to cover. You can obviously put it in the message in the comments down here. We do have a podcast page on TikTok. We need 50 followers in order to go live on that. So we are not quite there yet. So we do it on my personal page here for now. We also have an Instagram and YouTube and Spotify. It's all Together Out Loud. Together Out Loud. YouTube and Instagram have an underscore, so it's Together_Out Loud. But everything else is Together Out Loud. So even if you search it right now on TikTok, the handle hasn't changed yet. I was able to change the name, but not the handle, the username. So that's going to be changing here soon. I think I'm able to do it next week. So everything's going to be Together Out Loud. So yeah, follow us on all those channels if you can. And we usually post this live onto Spotify and YouTube the next day. So if you come up as a guest, just know that the recording is going to also be on Spotify and YouTube. So if you're okay with that, please come up as a guest.
And feel free also to join in the chat as well.
Yes. So what are we going to talk about today? I was gonna have you talk.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah, because she was sitting here talking. I don't know. Today we will get right into. There were some things that I wanted to touch on from the last episode now, and I completely blanked. I completely blanked out, so we're just gonna have dead air because I can't remember. It was stuff that I was thinking about that we had spoken about in the last episode as you were talking, and I was writing stuff down, and then it just completely slipped my mind.
I'm sorry.
That's how my memory works.
Date nights on a budget.
Say sorry.
Daily habits.
There were some things that I wanted to correct and point to and point out, but I don't remember exactly what it was from the previous episode. And again, if you guys want to, you can go and watch the previous episodes. They're up on Spotify and YouTube, Together Out Loud. But today we're just going to get right into it. We're going to start talking about traditional roles versus modern realities. And speaking of traditional roles, I just wanted to bring this up just because of the recent passing of Catherine O'Hara. I thought it was super cool so there's a video going around of her that you can see where somebody's talking about how great of an actress she is and how much they love her. And they ask her what her favorite role is. And I love that she said role of the mother of my children.
Yeah, what role you want to be remembered
what role you want to be remembered by. I'm paraphrasing here. Obviously, when I do these videos, or even when I quote Jordan Peterson, a lot of it's paraphrasing because my mind doesn't remember exactly what they say every time. Sometimes I do, but I liked that she answered that, and I am bringing this up because it goes with our topic, because that is a traditional answer. Like the fact that she's like, I don't care about the job, I don't care about the fame, I don't care about the fortune. Like my favorite role in life was as a mother, and I like that, and I think that women need to be encouraged to do that because they're the only people who can bring human beings into this world. So that is the number one role. That is the number one role you have. I mean, because men can't do it alone. I mean, I know women can't do it alone either, but I say that because I give more credit to the women because it only takes us a couple minutes to make a baby, and it takes women, 9 months of cooking it up in the oven,
baking it.
I hope we don't get flagged for that. They're talking about cooking children. It's talking about pregnancy, but we're going to get right into it. I just wanted to mention that because I just thought that was really cool, especially in a world where, also it happened to, what's her name? The blonde haired chick from Nightmare on Elm Street, which speaking of, but her dad, she had a famous dad. He was on Starsky and Hutch, I believe. David.
Oh.
Was it a David? I don't know. If you guys know, feel free to put it in the chat.
Oh, the new Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes, the remake. But her dad, he was another one who didn't. Cassidy, yes, David Cassidy. He was another one who did not mention like fame, fortune, or anything like that on his deathbed. The last thing that he said was so much time wasted, which just shows that like what he feels like he missed out on was like family time and being there with the people that he loves. So I enjoy that these people say things like this that are, I feel, more traditional. But we're going to go right into what do we do traditionally. I work hard. I work long hours. I make more money than her by the year, but not by the hour. So that, I guess that kind of goes into what we don't do traditionally. One thing, she makes more per hour than me, but I work longer hours, so I make more at the end of the year.
He brings home more.
Yeah, I bring home more weekly and at the end of the year, just because I work more hours, which kind of sucks.
It
But
does.
I say that because like I am the type of person where I guess that's another thing I don't do traditionally. I want to be around my family a lot. I don't devote myself to my job. But let's stick to the topic. I'll just try to keep going with what I do traditionally. Traditionally, I feel like I am a protector. I feel like I'm like pushing you off the screen. Do you want to move this way a
I'm
little
a
bit?
protector.
I'm a protector. Well, I'm saying that because like you're like this little hunched ball over in the corner.
I should just like
And
embrace
yeah,
being
that's
close to you.
fine.
There you go.
But I feel like I'm a protector. I feel like I own pew pews. I don't. Can we say firearms? I know you can't say the G word, which is just dumb. G as in just dumb. But
Hopefully as we get more and more followers, we'll be like using it.
people will also warn us, like, hey, you can't say that.
Yeah.
But I own firearms, and my purpose of owning those not only is for recreation, but also for protection, to protect the people that I love. So that's one thing I do traditionally. I'm a protector.
Hunt.
I'm a provider. I hunt. I bring we bring my middle son along hunting. My oldest just isn't really he hasn't really gotten into it yet. I'm hoping eventually someday, that'll change and he will get into it. But our middle one he loves it. He has a good time. Our oldest, just the problem with him is I'm cold, so he complains a lot. But so traditionally, yeah, I hunt, I provide, I protect, and I lead. I feel like I lead the household. I try to lead in a positive way. I try to lead in a way that honors and glorifies Jesus Christ and honors and glorifies God. I don't know. It's hard to go really into it because I also, sorry, I know that you were going to start speaking and I interrupted your train of thought, but I also don't even really know, in a sense, like what traditional versus non-traditional is. And the only reason I say that is because like my dad wasn't a traditional father. My dad just laid around and played video games all day long. So I didn't see, he wasn't a positive role model. I still love him and I forgive him for the things that he's done, but he wasn't a positive role model. He never worked as far as I can remember. I mean, he junked. And what I mean by junked is he drove around and collected scrap metal and then brought it to recycling places for money. And I did notice his talent in that. Like, especially as I got older, I noticed that he was good at that. Like my dad could, one thing I admired about him when it came to that was he could like look at a scrap pile and be like aluminum, tin, steel. Like he would know what everything was. And even to this day, I have no clue. Like I'll be like aluminum, just guessing. So I mean, I think that's a pretty cool talent. But he wasn't like bringing money in regularly or in a way that benefited us the way that it should. I mean, if I were to guess, what, $100 a week, if that, and then opposed to, I'm sure there were his weeks where I'm pretty sure that I remember some of his weeks where they were real pretty big weeks. Like this was a pretty big week, but he ended up getting cables out of a scrap pile at an auction, and he had us all stripping the rubber plastic off of the copper so he could cash that in. And I think that was like $500 or $600. But I'm getting off the topic here. But I'm mentioning all of this because I don't really. My dad wasn't traditional, and I don't really.
You didn't have a model of what a traditional father figure was.
Yes, I try to be traditional, and I guess that's what my view of traditional is. A traditional husband to me is just somebody who protects, provides for. But I think as a society we're rebranding traditional. At least I am, because like for me a traditional husband is somebody who also is open and caring and kind and understands the struggles and difficulties that his wife goes through on a day-to-day basis, as opposed to, I think that some old traditional values, they dismissed their wives a lot, and they were more just like, I'm at work, I'm busy with my work stuff, like let me do my thing, and like you do your thing. I guess almost in a separatist way.
My turn.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you don't have to say my turn. You can just start speaking. If it's silent, just speak.
Um,
Because we always have like dead air.
no, not really. I just want to make sure that I don't interrupt.
Well, like I said, and also if you interrupt me, I'll write it down if I had more stuff that I wanted to think about or wanted to say.
Okay. So what I do traditionally, and uh, I actually, yeah, I had um a model of my mom and dad. My dad was very blue collar. Um, Here comes the cat again. And so I do the majority cooking and the cleaning, like your typical daily or weekly stuff as I look over at the dishes. But um and I uh I think taking care of the kids, whereas like make sure they have their appointments set up, knowing what's going on at school, um, making sure their homework's done and things like that. But that's because again he does work long hours, so I am here and I'm lucky enough that I get to work from home. So that's kind of a mixture of traditional and non-traditional. I'm still working full time, but I get to work from home, so I get to do more of the child rearing. But I like this is it's funny to me because I like doing the traditional stuff. I like doing the cooking. I like making dinner every night for the kids and my husband. And
Sorry, something was on his ear.
I like being the one to like collect the plates and take them to the sink and things like that. Now, we touched base on this a couple weeks ago. It'd be nice. We're trying to teach the kids to clean up after themselves, so it's not just one person. Just making sure the house is um, tidy because I hate stuff on the floor. But those really are what I think about when I think of the things that I do traditionally. And if you would just like go somewhere and sit
Or lay down right here.
or lay down, but like he cooks on the grill, like so some days in the summertime he'll cook on the grill, and I think about that. I think about my mom and dad, and my mom did that. My mom did the cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids and stuff like that, and my dad, he would cook on the grill every once in a while, and I see that as like a man's thing to do. But I kind of laugh because I see these other um, again, see people complaining on social media that their husbands don't do those things.
She's just trying to keep the butt cat out of your guys'
I don't
face.
want
or
you
the
to...
butt cat, the cat butt. Said that backwards.
I don't want his butt right in your face. But I see people like women get upset that the husband's not helping around the house. I understand that things have changed where we majority are two income families, and so it's hard for a woman, and I can agree with this, to work and then on top of that have to take care of the house and the chores and things like that. But you figure out how to make it work because I still have time to spend time with my family and do things for myself too. It's one of those where you kind of have to pick and choose, unfortunately, what is the most important. But they complain even after their husbands are working all day long, and I don't expect him, especially like he works what 60 hours a week at least. Like I don't expect him to come home and then start cleaning the house too. Relax or spend time with the kids. That's more important to me. And so it's just strange to me. There's also videos that I see where the woman doesn't do anything. She doesn't work or take care of the house, and then she has her man taking care of the house and work. And I don't know how you can respect a man who does that, and I don't know how a man can be happy doing that. And I'm kind of getting off on a tangent here, but that's basically what I do traditionally. is doing the majority of like taking care of the house and like being a homemaker and cooking and stuff. But I enjoy doing that, and that was something that my mom did that I looked up to. I don't know if she was happy doing that and take care of my dad like that.
I would assume she was, because she still does it.
Yeah,
like
she
that's
does it.
kind of like her love language, same as Samantha's, is cooking.
And like cooking, and like every time she comes to see us, she brings something, and it's like she never has to, and she's not obligated to. We're not expecting that, but like that's her thing, that what she likes to do.
Yeah, she likes to bring food.
Yeah, give
goodies.
things. Yeah, goodies, and it's nice that like she feels good making us happy in that way.
Nourishment. I think that women are very big on, I want to provide nourishment for the family.
Like,
so that's traditional, I think.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing, like the man protects like with strength and providing and financial stability, but the woman protects to me, with your health and making sure you have everything you need to be comfortable and nourishment. So each sex or gender brings something to the family unit. Oh, that's another thing I was going to say. There are also women who will like complain if they get married. They're expected. Like, he doesn't force me to do any of that stuff, but they say that they're expected to do the. I'm not being forced. I love it.
Think twice if you're in trouble.
But they like complain about like, oh, so now I have to do all this stuff. It's like, what are you doing when you're single? Who's cooking? I'm assuming that's another thing. I'm sorry. I'm getting so, I need to write this stuff down when I want to talk about. But like, who's doing the cooking and the cleaning when you're single? Like, obviously you're cleaning, hopefully, your own apartment or whatnot. So
yeah, and it actually, like the cooking part, it gets better when you have a bigger group, because of the fact that like, I remember when I was single, like am I going to cook myself like tuna helper and just eat leftovers for 4 days? Because, a one serving thing of tuna helper, you're going to end up with like 5-6 servings. And so it was always difficult to cook for myself. But you did mention spending time with the kids. I think that helps too, though, because of the fact that like, I would assume like a lot of, well, actually even personally, men that I know, they don't want to spend time with their kids, which is strange to me. I feel like that's traditional, though. I feel like it's a traditional thing for men to kind of just come home and want to do their own thing, whereas I'm different. So I think that might help her a little bit with wanting to do the traditional things that she wants to do, like cleaning, cooking, and stuff like that, because she doesn't also have the kids there as well, because like I'll go and spend some time with the kids so she can go cook or clean or do whatever hobby she's working at the moment. And then I should have wrote down the second one. I was going to mention something else too, but I completely forgot. It was like towards the end of what you were talking about.
Oh, when I was talking about women like complaining that if they get married, they had to like, oh, now I have to do the cooking and cleaning and all that.
Oh yeah.
But
like,
who does that yourself when you're single?
But I don't really know. I don't have a lot traditionally to go off of. So I think we'll move on to our next topic of what do we do non-traditionally, just because, and as weird as it just sounds weird, because we are a traditional couple, I feel, but I feel like I at least have more to speak when it comes non-traditionally.
Yeah, the generational change.
Yeah, generational change and differences, gender differences, in that
there's only two.
Yeah, there's only two genders, but yeah, we'll get flagged for that. But in that, I'm definitely more talkative than a traditional male.
Yeah.
A traditional guy, even like guys I speak with, like a lot of their dads were men of few words, very quiet, very silent. I'm a talker. I can talk till I'm blue in the face.
Come here.
And I mean, especially even like coaching and stuff, I'm a big talker when it comes to coaching, which people say is a bad thing because they're like, oh, don't talk the kids' heads off. I think that it's good to give advice. And the reason I talk so much is it's a good outlet. And like, that's why I like this so much. It's a good creative outlet. It's a good outlet to get my thoughts out and get my thoughts down on paper, get my thoughts out to my wife, because she and I have this dance of words together. Like, for instance, just yesterday or the day before that, we were talking and she was like, we need to remember all of this stuff we're saying, because like sometimes our conversations flow so smoothly that we're like, these are things that we need to talk about. But so I think that's one thing I do that's non-traditional. I'm definitely a talker. I definitely share my feelings more than traditional men do. I don't bottle it up as much. I used to bottle it up. So I think that a lot of change is good, but just don't go too far. Obviously, I'm not going to cry and moan and complain about things that just aren't important. Sometimes things that aren't important will bother me, but I will just come to my wife about those. So I think that I'm making, I think society too is making huge changes in pushing men. Oh, I remember now what I was going to talk about.
Good.
A masculine and toxic part of the traditional man is that, this is my opinion, that they didn't want to spend a whole lot of time with kids. I think that you can go, I think that you can have toxic traits from a traditional point of view. So I guess I can agree with people who are progressive and people who are more liberal when it comes to that, because I don't think it's beneficial for anybody. I think it benefits the child way more for you to be a part of their lives and to help encourage and motivate them. And also I think traditionally, and this is coming from biblical views, I think traditionally there were two different ways of raising the child, and that's why God put man and woman together in the beginning. And that is that the man is to help encourage and motivate, and the woman is to help nurture. So you want a happy balance in between those two things, because if you're lacking the if you're lacking the motivation and encouragement, then you're going to have a child that's too over nurtured and possibly sheltered. And then on the other hand, if you're too encouraging and motivating, lacking the nurturing, you're going to have a child that is, I feel, harsh. That would be my opinion of what would come out of that. Harsh and because too motivated and too encouraged can be more career driven and more, I'm all about me. Like I'm all about me, less empathetic. So that's why you need that balance between both of them. So that's kind of speaking of traditional, I guess that's more traditional parenting roles though, as opposed to earlier talking traditional couple roles, traditional marriage roles. And so I think that we do well with that. And I think that that's how it was meant. But I think that men are more non-traditional when it comes to parenting. I think that we do need to get in there. And I think that society is changing that and moving that towards the better, where it's like a lot of men are trying to be a greater part of their child's lives. And especially as a man, I'll speak that we definitely need that, because I didn't have, again, I've spoken about this before in other episodes, I didn't have any encouragement or motivation growing up.
And I think that is important for everybody, both man and woman, because, like I said, when I worked with people in the criminal justice system, it was like a norm for them not to have any kind of support or encouragement growing up, and that's really sad to me. Going back to what you said, some men who are traditional in the sense where they're like all about work, so when they get home they don't tend to want to spend time with their family, and maybe that came from the model of their dad. So I mean, I know you talked about your dad and some of the things that he's may have done better, but I think it's also maybe was kind of a good thing how he was, because it kind of shaped how you want to be different with your kids.
Yeah, I wanted to be the opposite.
And you kind of found a balance. You're still trying to find that balance because of the fact that unfortunately you're working a lot of hours. But
it's work. Perfection is a lie. You'll never be perfect.
No, you will not. Only one was perfect. So I agree with you, and I agree with the left and the progressive side of it, where men should be able to open up more, because of the fact that men's unaliving themselves is way more than we think, and way more than I think it should be. But that's why, because traditionally growing up, it's like, oh, boys don't cry, toughen up, get over it, da 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 da. And then they feel like they can't talk about the things that are bothering them because they're not, quote, being a man then. So I think that's a good thing, non-traditional as a society, that we are kind of leaning more into. Um, but that's a whole nother topic about how the mental health field is kind of
And
taking a
men, be
bit just
proud of it. If you're listening to this, men, be proud of that, because it takes vulnerability. Well, it's vulnerable. It makes you vulnerable. So it takes some bravery and courage
yeah.
to speak up and talk about your feelings and talk to your wife, because I know one of the scariest things in my brain is thinking about how someone's going to react, or like, oh, well, maybe they won't like me if I say this, or maybe they'll react badly. But just be honesty is just such a powerful thing. And it's kind of like Jesus Christ, the truth shall set you free. And it's correct. It's a correct statement, but be proud of yourself for that as well. Give yourself a pat on the back, guys. Give yourself a pat on the back. You're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm serious about that.
Yeah.
I'm saying it in a joking way, but also because I'm very proud, because it's not easy to come out and say the things that bother you and say the things that are wrong in life, in your life personally.
And you can still be strong and a protector and a masculine man while talking about your
there's strength in vulnerability.
Yeah.
There's strength in that, because you're also admitting that you're flawed, because we're all making mistakes throughout life. I know that, like, I know that, like, I look at many men, many men, and I'm like,
is that Fitty?
Yeah, that's Fitty.
Mr. Sen.
And I'm like, she's interrupting my cool speech. Many men. And I'm like, man, how do they hold it together so well? But there's something in there where they have flaws and they're struggling as well, the same as you are, the same as I am. And I think that's another nice thing, is because other men will see this and hear this, and they'll go, like, it's nice to see a man who's like, I mess up and I make mistakes and I'm vulnerable, because then you yourself also can be like, I'm similar. But I think that the success comes from seeing those failures and seeing those mistakes that we make, and then rising above it. So for instance, like me, when I have my freakouts and I'm lashing out about things that kind of aren't even that important in life, and then the next day when I move past it, and I for instance, this is going to sidetrack, but I'm going to take us back to my nihilism. When I start to get hopeless and stuff, I start to lose track of who I am. And it's the victory over that, it's conquering that really matters, and sharing that with the world. Because when they hear, like, those moments that I have where I'm hopeless and I'm defeated and I'm feeling like unaliving myself and I'm feeling like I'm a nobody and I'm feeling like I shouldn't exist, it's the day after and the day after that and the day after that when I conquer that and I overcome that. And I'm speaking about that because you can do that too. And I take a little pride in that. I'm proud of myself for those things. And you should be as well. Because when you overcome those things and when you conquer those things, you've grown. Well, you've not only grown, but you've become better because of that thing, which is weird to say. It's a tough thing to look at, and a tough thing to say, is that these struggles and these flaws and these failures are what is forming you and making you who you are through Christ.
That's right.
Through Jesus.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Lord.
Jesus.
And this is also why we should be thankful. Think about Job. Thankful during our times of tribulation, which I struggle with. I am not at all. So there's another flaw that I have.
You are definitely improving.
I've gotten better, but that's another flaw that I have. So if you guys are looking at a completely flawed and sinful human being, but I'm making the changes, and I'm doing the work, and I'm putting in the work, and you can too, and you should, because the glory at the end of it, the glory of God at the end of it, is just amazing. It really is. And it's a truly great feeling when you look up and you pray and you just and you praise Jesus and you put some love on God and you put some love on Jesus. It's just a glorious feeling inside your own heart, because you're just like astounded by the plan. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. Sometimes I'm astounded by the plan, because I'm like, man, God, you did all of this just for this. Like, for instance, just an example, like, and this is something funny to be proud of, but I was proud. I had a moment where I was proud this week because I got the kids some socks. And I know you're like, yeah, it's just socks, whatever. But man, I just gave so much praise to the Lord. I gave so much praise to Jesus, because it's like, I think about my childhood when I grew up, and like, if I needed underwear, socks, anything, like I would go to my mom, and because my mom was struggling and my dad wasn't helping out, she would be like, yeah, well, it's going to have to wait. So, it would be like months before I got that stuff. So I'd have like holes in my socks, holes in my underwear, whatever. But there's just something to be proud of in the fact that I don't do that. Like, I am so blessed by Jesus that when the boys need something like that, something simple, or even sometimes something complex like new shoes or boots, because they cost more than socks and underwear, obviously, I'm so blessed to know that it's sitting in there, and it's just like, oh, yep, here you go, boom, done. And that's why I just had a moment where I just praised Jesus and thanked him so much, because I'm like, other people don't have that. There are other people who live the way I lived growing up, where it was like, yeah, you're not getting that right now. You're going to have to wait. Or like hand-me-downs. I constantly was wearing hand-me-downs. And there's nothing wrong with hand-me-downs. Nothing wrong at all with hand-me-downs. But I do find some joy in the fact that our middle child, we can get him his own individual clothes. And it's nice. It's nice because that's what makes him an individual and a human being, is having his own personal taste and his own personal experience, so to speak. So I know that went off on a tangent, way off of like traditional versus non-traditional. I just wanted to sing some praise to the Lord.
You never have to apologize for that, ever.
I was apologizing more because I didn't know if I like sidetracked you.
No, you actually made
because that also starts getting you thinking about the same things that I'm talking about. So.
No, there's a couple of things I wanted to say about that. Actually, that reminded me of something I wanted to say that I think we do traditionally. Like, my money is mostly to, and I say this, it is our money, and what I'm saying, my paycheck goes mostly to like groceries and utilities and stuff. So it is easier for me to, like, if I don't have the money for my paycheck one week to get something, it's easier for me to be like, hey, the kids need this, and he's like, say no more, fam.
Say no more, fam. Here it is.
And so, like, I think that is a more traditional thing. Like, oh, I'm going to my man for something that we need, and he is like, yeah, let's get it.
And just as a reminder, like the live, feel free to subscribe, follow us on TikTok, which is BU Podcast right now. It's going to change. It's going to eventually become Together Out Loud, because again, we couldn't change the name.
If you search Together Out Loud, it will pop up.
Okay. And then also Together Out Loud on Instagram, YouTube. Feel free to subscribe and follow those as well. And you can find us on Spotify. And if you want to be part of the conversation, part of the broadcast, part of the conversation, part of the chat, feel free to join in on the chat. And also feel free to email us at tlpodcast15@gmail.com. I like to throw that in every now and then, just so that people know, like, this isn't just up here, blah, 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 listen to us talk. Like, we want everyone else to become a part of this. We want everyone else to join in and discuss some things that you are interested in, because I love it. And also I like learning from other people. Like, for instance, when we had Dan in here, and his wife's from the Philippines, I'd love to have Dan in here and up here again, because I'd like to ask him some questions about the cultural differences and stuff like that in having a wife that's from the Philippines. I just find it fascinating just to learn from other people and listen to other people.
And we're no experts. It's just based on our experience. Trust me, like, we've had lots of time, especially earlier in our marriage, to grow and to kind of figure out what the heck we were doing. But we have 10 years in, so we wanted to start this because of the fact that, like, we're also learning along as you guys are, and we've kind of found that our conversations flow very well, so we wanted to just kind of share. But that's another thing I was going to say. You mentioned how, like, non-traditionally you're more of a talker, you can talk, and so I feel like maybe non-traditionally I'm more of a listener and an observer. So I think that works well for our dynamic, because we're not both battling for the spotlight, for lack of a better word, where, like, I enjoy hearing him talk and
I would agree with that, actually.
Observe it and listen. Another thing that I wanted to mention, how you said, you're very happy and grateful that you were able to get.
Sorry about the cat butt.
Yeah, he's crazy today.
Hey, Tyler's in there. What's up, Tyler?
Sorry about, or when you were saying, you got me all distracted with the cat. When you were saying about how you were happy that you were able to get them socks because when you were younger, or maybe even other people have that similar situation right now, similar experience where they're like, oh, we're gonna have to wait months. My thing is, and maybe I'm lucky, thank the Lord that He's always provided everything that we ever need and wants as well. But my thing is, like, part of the problem with that is your priorities. Because if my kids needed socks, I would go without something for them to have socks.
Yeah.
So even if we couldn't like get it, just get it like we can, we're lucky enough to just get it. Even if we are struggling, I would go without something in order for them to have socks. So like that's my thing. That's something that I'm a little bit judgmental about. I think your priorities should be different if your kid is going without socks for months. But that's a whole nother thing that I could talk about.
And going back to her being a little quieter, it's because she's more analytical. So because she has the background in psychology and mental health, she definitely is a lot more
that's a problem
intrusive.
No, it's true, because that is a problem, because true, because it's funny you say that, because the first thing, like if I'm hearing somebody talking or observing their behavior, my first thing is going, oh, what kind of diagnosis does this person have?
Yeah,
and that's not good.
Which helps in a way too, though, because like when I first got with her, I definitely wasn't the person that I am today. So it's helped me to grow, because I was your typical man where I was just like, I want to hide everything inside and not talk about anything, because who wants to hear my problems, for one, and for two, who really wants to get to know me on that level? Like, it actually makes me think of something that I wrote down, how over this past week I've been kind of a little sad because nobody really got the best version of me other than my wife. And I'm not saying that as in like I wish I didn't end up with my wife. I wish I would have been a better version for someone else. I'm just saying it makes me sad for those people because they never got to see how awesome and great I am.
Yeah.
And not that I wasn't awesome or great then.
You're lost.
But I didn't put forth any effort, and it just kind of was more dismissive. Where like when I met her, she was more interested in getting to know me as a human being, and not just the good side of me though, like my flaws and the things that were wrong and the traumas that I've gone through in my life. And it's nice to have, and I think that's also why I can be so open with my wife. So this is what I recommend for anybody that's watching this, is just be open with each other, because the reason I can be so open with her is because of the fact that she was very open, very analytical, in a non-judgmental way, in a way that seemed very safe, in a way that seemed safe and empathetic, and could like sympathize with my own traumas and my own battles that I had overcome in life, and also like celebrate those battles that I've overcome. I know we're breaking off onto like a psychology, mental health part of this, but I'm just saying all of those because she did major in that. So she is very intelligent when it comes to that stuff. And it's also helped. It's actually made me smarter as a person too, because I look at things more on a deeper level than just seeing things in such a black and white perspective. I don't mean that as race either. I just mean the colors.
Yeah. And I think it's important too that you, going back to what you said, you were kind of this week looking at your past relationships and feel a little bad. And I think also he means too, is that he sees that there's always two sides to a situation. So rather than like just blaming the other person for what didn't work out, you reflect on what are the things that I could have done differently. It may not have ended up with a different outcome, but at least you can learn from it, and it changes that victim mindset too.
It helps you grow from it. You're not going to grow from it if you don't look and see what you did wrong.
Exactly.
And that's the truth.
exactly, and I think
that's why it's a red flag. So I don't mean to interrupt you real
No,
quick. That's why it's a red flag also when you meet a man or woman and every single thing that happened in all their past relationships was the other person's fault. Red flag, guys. Just consider that.
yeah, because who's the common denominator here?
Yeah.
Well, even
Make sure you get deeper and be like, okay, so what are the things you
Right.
did wrong? Sorry, go
well,
ahead.
and also too, to kind of piggyback on that, off of that is, okay, even if those people that you chose, even if they were not very good people to be with, you are choosing these same people over and over again. So whether it's your
And you can choose to get out of it. Go ahead.
yeah, whether it's these people were actually like quote bad eggs, or you are assuming that they're the only bad person in the situation. Both are a problem. Um, but another thing I wanted to say too is, um, going back to when we first got together, and he didn't think like, oh, why would anybody want to like get to know me on a deeper level like that. I think it also helped that like I'm the type of person that doesn't give up so easily too, because it might be quick for you to be like, no, we're just not gonna do this, because it's easier to um avoid possibly getting hurt because you open yourself up to somebody and they don't like that version that you showed them. So it's easier to just
Yeah, because that hurts
run
when
away.
someone doesn't
It
like
does,
you.
especially when it's
I don't like you.
especially when it's the things that already bother you about yourself, and then you open up and are brave and vulnerable to open up about those things that you already don't like about
And then they
yourself,
like you
and then
even
they're
less.
like, yeah, I don't like you either.
Yeah, even less now.
So
Now
I
like
can
even less.
see like how it's just easier just to kind of put on facade, be fake in that type of way.
But you're never gonna find what you like and what you
No.
want if you're gonna be fake. Because eventually the real you is gonna have to come out.
And why would you want to be with somebody who likes a fake version of you?
Yeah, that too.
Because that's my thing. Like I was never really like, I wasn't the popular person. I was always the shy, quiet person. Um, and there's going to be people who don't like you for one reason or another. So why be fake and allow them to like a fake version of you? How exhausting that would be to always be somebody who's fake. Um, but so I know we like went way off on the tangent.
But
yeah, just a couple.
And
other
that's going to
things.
happen. That's going to continue to happen
That's
because
how our
that's just how our
conversations are.
conversations go.
And
They
that's what I
just
like. My roommate in college, not the one in freshman year, but the roommate I had for the rest of my years, that's what our conversations would go into different things, and we'd always like to track how I even got to that point.
try to get it back to where you were.
But yeah, just some other non-traditional things. I work full time, and I guess that's just like a given these days. I enjoy working, but if I had the choice, I would love to be just taking care of the kids,
And I would love that too.
Homeschooling them and working on like my homemade stuff, because
But unfortunately, Trump couldn't get us back to that.
Yeah.
The only thing he could get us was 50-year mortgages. So, unfortunately, the American dream was ruined by our government. I don't care. I'm saying it. I'll probably get flagged for that. They'll be like, he's talking bad about the government. It's just because of the fact that, like, no,
if you're talking about Trump, it's gonna be fine now, because like they don't get flagged.
Our government just completely messed up the American dream, which is to have a stay-at-home mother. Because I would love that also, because then she would be able to raise the kids and they would get morals and values and stuff from her, rather than spending a lot of time with teachers who you don't know. Which thankfully we live in a small neighborhood, small community. She mentioned this in the last episode, so we don't. A lot of the people in our area follow our same views and beliefs.
Yeah.
Not like to the T, but at least most of them, the most important ones. A lot of people we know praise and put Jesus above all things. So
yeah, we're lucky enough that their school district, so far from what I've experienced, have not taught them any of the BS that I don't agree with. Which that's another thing too that I want to say real quick is, if you as a parent don't like what is being taught, pay attention. You have to pay attention to what's going on in your child's life. My parents, like, no offense to my parents, but they never, that I can remember, asked me like how my day was, what are you learning in school, anything like that. I would just come home, do my work, and
that's scary.
that is
That
scary.
they weren't asking. I mean,
No, because they don't have no clue what I was being taught in school, and luckily, like, I kind of,
and in a lot of like in history, for instance, questions are discouraged. Like they want you to just read the history book and be like, "This is what happened."
yeah.
Like,
But yeah, that's a
and you
whole
start to
other
recognize
thing.
that as an adult. Anyways, that's a whole nother thing.
Why does our version of traditional work?
I feel like our version of traditional works because, like I said earlier, I think we've changed the meaning of traditional and what traditional really is, at least for our family. And I recommend that everybody else find their own comfort zone and their own safe place of traditional. And what I mean by that isn't find a safe space, but what I mean by that is create, change, take traditional and make it become what you want it to be. Now, I can't say that as far as the LGBTQIA, so on and so forth, because that's non-traditional. But I don't think, my opinion here, I don't think you can make that work. And the reason you can't make that work is Jesus Christ, the Bible, God made man and woman. So if you have a man and man relationship or a woman and woman relationship, unfortunately, it's just not going to work out because, again, you're going to have too nurturing or too motivating and encouraging. So that's my opinion on it. Again, if you disagree, feel free to email us, tlpodcast15@gmail.com, or feel free to join in the chat. Feel free to DM either of us. We are always ready and willing to have a conversation with anybody, an open dialogue about anything you guys want to speak about. So if you hear that and you say, well, I don't agree with that because I am a homosexual male or female, then we would love to have you as a guest or love to have a conversation with you about that and about why you feel differently.
And now, we still love everybody. And
and we still love you even though we don't agree with your lifestyle. And again, going back to something I said in the last episode, it's just a sin. It's just a saying you can still find salvation through Jesus Christ and you can still seek heaven.
Yeah.
But that's just the beginning of why I think our version of traditional works is because we've taken it and made it what it needs to become, which is, I think the best thing you can do in any relationship, and we stress this on every single episode, I know it's probably getting boring and old, but is honesty, open dialogue, open communication. And that is because nothing helps if you're not open about it. You can't get any help if you're not open about it. So if you want something introduced into your relationship and you say, hey, I like what I'm hearing from these two. I like what I'm hearing from the Together Out Loud podcast. And I would like to incorporate some of this stuff into my relationships. Then you talk to the person about it. You have to be open. You just have to say, hey, I heard this on, for instance, and I'm not a woman, but I feel like I could speak for a woman when it comes to this. As a woman, if your man's not open and he's not speaking to you, then you say to him, hey, I heard on Together Out Loud from this guy, Jason, that it's really helpful if we're open and we have open dialogue and open communication. And see if that helps. Just tell me what you need. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need to help this relationship be better. And that's a non-traditional thing because, again, men don't really want to talk. Men kind of want to hold it all in. But that's going to help your relationship, whether it be relationship or marriage. It's going to help in the short term and the long term because, especially if you're good with conversation. Also, you can't judge though. You can't go out and you can't be open in communication while judging and being like, I want to get some stuff that I can use against him or her. You got to be open and you got to be willing to listen and make some changes together as a team.
Out loud.
Yes, out loud.
Yeah. Also, another thing is, and I'm trying to teach the kids too, is you don't have any control over another person's reaction or feelings. Same as another person is not forcing you to be angry or upset or anything like that. It's your choice how you are going to react to something. And no, because I've felt this, that is one of the reasons why maybe some people are afraid to be more honest and open, is they're afraid of how the other person's going to react or take it. but that is not your
That's
responsibility.
100% why they don't do it.
Right. That is not your responsibility. Not to say like you
'Cause
should
it is
be
scary.
a jerk about it. You should try to discuss things in a calm way. And I also say this because early on, I think I've gotten better, but earlier on in a relationship, I would get incredibly defensive about a lot of the things that he um, would talk about. And
it's because I started to feel so safe that I would talk to her about everything.
And I'm like, I don't know how.
But it turned out to be a good thing.
Yeah,
it wasn't a bad thing that I started opening up about everything, even like my inner flaws, my inner demons, so to speak.
But I
think corn's one of those.
And that's why it's like, it's important. And I think this is why marriages fail, relationships fail, is because, for one, people are way too stubborn and defensive, and they take things personally. Whereas you have to remember, it's hard enough for that person to be open. Like, wow, isn't that incredible that they were brave enough to be open about this particular topic, wherever they're talking about?
Yeah, at least give some credit for that.
Yeah, give credit for that. And even, you don't even have to respond right away. If you're feeling,
think about it.
Yeah, if you're feeling like you're going to have an irrational response, take a time out. And that sounds corny and childish, but take a time out. I tell the kids that, like, you can give yourself a time out. And that doesn't mean you love the person any less. It doesn't mean you're not going to want to resolve the issue or compromise, or whatever the case may be. But I would much rather, like, him having to go for a walk, or me having to go for a walk, and then coming back and talking it in a calm, rational way, than to be defensive and then maybe say crap that you don't want to say just to hurt the other person's feelings. And also, how you said, like, you shouldn't go and find something to use against the person. That's another thing. I think people will start to resent each other and kind of be competitive, or want to one up the other person. And why would you want to be in a relationship if that's what you want to do? Like, my goal is to want him to be the best version of himself.
It's funny that you said that, because that reminds me of Dr. Jordan Peterson saying, people having conversations to win the argument. And he's like, that's the worst thing you can do. It's a terrible idea. And it's funny that you say that, because it immediately made me think of him. And he was like, because, like, oh, yay, congratulations, you won the argument. Now you get to spend the rest of your life with someone you just belittled and just tore apart.
Right.
Like, now you get to spend the rest of your life with somebody who's technically lower than you. You've beaten them down, you've won, and you've now moved up a peg, and they've now moved down a peg. How happy are you going to be? How happy are you going to be in your life with someone that you just beat? Like, because you're not.
No, and how do you respect?
Yeah, you're not going to respect somebody that you've beaten into submission.
And on the other hand, too, that person's not going to respect you.
I was going to say also, though, I was kind of just staring at you, and that's why I love you so much, because sometimes you get off on these. You really get going, and right there, you really got going there. That was all really good, like, because everything you said there, I completely agree with, and I was just like, man, I love when she gets these moments where she just starts going off, and she's like 100% correct, and I'm just like, yeah, that's go, girl. Keep going. Get them. Tell them. And it is all true. Everything that she said was all 100% spot on.
Well, and also, and I don't know if that's me and the way I grew up. I grew up like,
but especially when you started speaking about the timeout part,
yeah.
Because like she and I have, well, both of us have always been really big on like immediate conflict resolution. And when you stated that, in my head, I'm nodding and I'm like smiling, because in my head I'm just like, yes, absolutely, because there's so many times where I've said things that I should not have said, and also recognizing moments in my life now where I take breaks and I'm like, man, she's so smart when it comes to like yeah, just give myself some time to take a little breath and relax and calm down a little bit. Doesn't mean we love each other any less or anything like that, but we got all the time in the world to come to a conclusion and resolve whatever issue we may have going on.
And I also think it's important, like, you're not just like, don't just walk away and ignore the person. Tell them, like, I don't know how to respond to this right now, so I'm just going to go take a walk. Because I know for me personally, if he just like stops talking to me or like walks away, I feel like, oh, this is not important to him at all.
She'll feel like I'm dismissing.
Yes, like don't. So I think it's very important, the person who needs to go take a time out, just say, listen, let me go take a breather and think about this for a
Yeah.
little bit.
Well, and also because like how you were saying, when you're talking to someone about, for instance, me, my inner demons, and when I bring those up, some of them may be you may be taken aback by them.
Yeah.
So it's best, rather than to just react immediately, it's best to be like, let me go and think about these things, especially now in our relationship and our relationship with Jesus, as we've grown closer. At least for me, I feel like I can probably speak for both of us when it comes to this. As we've grown closer to the Lord, the beauty in that is that if she comes to me with an issue that I'm taken aback by, or vice versa, we can also then take it to the Lord as well. We can go and we can pray about it, and we can go and we can look through the Bible about it to be like, what do I do about this? Which I feel like our answers and our conclusions through it have always been pretty good. Like,
obviously, since we get along like
better than anyone we know.
We're like the most awesome.
We're like pretty much the best, most baddest, assest of couples.
No,
Bamps together.
But obviously I have not perfected that. There are times where I do just like,
oh no, it's the puzzle
because
thing.
We're not. Oh shoot, you went too fast.
I went too far.
There are times where like I will still like immediately respond.
I did it that time.
Yeah. But I noticed like the kids are getting way better at that than I am. So obviously something.
That's okay. It's charged.
Oh, did I knock it?
Yeah, that's okay.
No, sorry, my bad. I get close to you and knock stuff.
And also, I have this here because my eyes are bad and I can't really see like up there. So if anybody does join the chat, I look over here at this to see if anybody comments, because I'm hoping people will comment and join in. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. But yeah, I noticed that like the kids are doing that. They're able to calm themselves down a lot quicker than I ever have been able to. So even if I still have a lot of work to do in regards to how I respond to things, something's working along the line, because the kids are, a lot better with emotional regulation.
They're very well behaved
than I am. So
yeah, they're way better. And I think that's nice too. Actually, come back to the why your version of traditional works for your family. I'm going to say that as well as that, because I think that we promote the positives in traditional and the positives in non-traditional. Yes. I think we promote that with our kids as well. And not only does it help us, but it helps our kids, because, sorry, I'm getting emotional just because I love them so much. And like, I'm also proud of you and me. But I just like the fact that we are giving them positive role models to look up to. And I like the fact that like they can look at dad and be like, wow, like they can see how I treat you and see how you treat me in return. And I'm just happy to know that I'm just happy. I'm just blessed. And I'm happy to know also that like, because this even shows them their own worth. Yes. You may not think about it, but it shows them their own worth, because like they see their parents and they're going to know what is positive. Like if they end up with a toxic woman or a man, they're going to look back to our relationship and they're going to be like, yeah, this isn't what I want, and this isn't right. And that's such a good thing, and I'm just astounded at like the thought of that, because of the fact that like me and all my failed relationships, I never had any self-worth. That was even part of the problem, is I never valued myself at all. So I just put up with whatever. I was just happy to have a girlfriend or whatever. So it's just nice to me to know that the conceptual future that I see for my children is that like when they start seeing those red flags and those things that definitely don't work, they're not going to be like me. They're going to be like, I'm out. Like, I got to go, because I saw the way my mom and my dad treated each other. And I can see that you can have a valuable relationship and an extremely loving relationship without all of this extra stuff that you're bringing on. Like, we can talk to each other and we can get along. And if you're not willing to do that, then you got to go. Like, for instance, I'll think of an example. Like when I had a girl that was on the phone, and I was talking, and she literally told me that she sat the phone down for like 15 minutes. As I'm talking and kind of defending myself and my side, I stayed with her after this too. But looking back on it, I'm like, man, it's just crazy. Like that's the communication part of a relationship. You're not going to solve anything or fix anything by being like bloop with the phone and then picking it up after 15 minutes and be like, you were talking this whole time? I literally wasn't listening. The phone was just sitting on the bed. At that point, I should have been like, click.
We're done.
Yeah, we're done. And when she called, just never answered again. And that just would have been the end of it. But I didn't. I was like, no, I can fix things. I can make this work. But it's just so nice to me to know that like the kids can see us and the relationship we have and the love that we have for each other. And that's what they're going to aim towards. We're giving them goals to aim towards.
Yeah, and also it's nice that they see that like people can disagree and still love each other and respect. Like that situation right there, that was, I don't know, respect is a huge thing for me. Even if you're arguing, even if you don't like a person, even if you're disagreeing, respect them. And the fact that like she didn't respect
anything
even
I had
like
to say.
listen,
Not even a single word I had
not
to
a single
say.
word, but and that's part of the problem with, I'm sorry, with women.
Well, and why do you think I didn't value myself? Because nobody else valued me either.
Right, and I can understand that, and it's sad, and that's one of the things too that I know how it feels to like feel dismissed. So that's why I think it's important. Like if you are not ready to respond to this situation or whatever the person said, or whatever the argument is, and you need to walk away, just say like, I'm taking a time out. That's it. Just say.
I think the hardest part for us is just like how awesome we are and amazing we are. And I think sometimes people get a little jealous of it. But if you're jealous of it, just come watch the podcast and come be a part of it and learn from us. Then you can be awesome too. You and your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife, or if you're a homosexual couple, you can be amazing and awesome as well. You
for the low price of
$499.99. It's not even $500. Just kidding. We're not selling you anything. No. We're not pitching anything. This is all just creativity coming out, because both of us are also creative people, and both of us are both super, don't laugh, stop laughing, are both super creative people as well, and we need to get it out sometimes. And also we're both super helpful. Like we want to help others. So even if it's just one person that listens to our podcast or watches us on YouTube or catches a short or anything, like if a single person is like, man, I heard what you guys were talking about and it changed my life or changed my marriage or changed my relationship or changed anything, I will be so super proud. Did your thing go off yet, by the way?
It did go off, but I just
ignored it because we were on that roll.
But why I wanted to toot our horns a little bit too. I think it's pretty cool too, the way we communicate and the way our relationship is and the way our kids are.
Oh, I'm super proud.
Well, considering the fact that we didn't have that modeling.
And it blew up quick. Also, considering the fact that like we went quick. Like we were married, I don't even care about this, I'll say it. We were married in 3 months? In 3 months we were married. And like most people would be like, 3 months, that'll never work. 10 years later. But I think it's because both of us were so open and willing to like change, compromise, like, and learn and grow together. Like learn and grow together. Like neither of us, it's funny, neither of us were really going into this relationship looking for perfect. Because we both were like flawed individuals who were like,
and I was just one of those where it's like, well,
she was just over it. She was just like, I'll take whatever I can get. No, I'm joking.
It was one of those where like he's either gonna like me or he's not. I'm at the point where like I'm not gonna care whether. So like the first day, I'm just like, whatever.
And I was the same way. I was like, I've been in so many relationships that have failed, and so many. And again, I take my own fault. I take my own blame for this as well. But so many relationships where the women promised one thing or were a completely different person in the beginning of the relationship and then different at the end. Actually, I can say that about my wife. She's the only person that I've ever met that played 0 games. 0 games.
I'm not about games or drama.
That's another thing. That's another thing that will benefit you. No drama, no games. Like there's no reason for it. If you want to be with someone, be with them. If someone tells you that they love you on the first day that they met you, then if that's not for you, get out. And if it's for you, stay in. I mean, I'm the Ted Mosby of relationships.
That's right. That's what we.
But it's because like I'm full of love. Like especially when it comes to like the woman that I'm with. If I fall for you, I fall hard, and that's it. Like I'm turning into Ted Mosby right here. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. And if you don't like that, then yeah, get out. But there's no reason whatsoever for any kind of games or drama. Just go. If you don't like it, go. Mm-hmm. No hard to get, nothing like that. And the sad part is then towards in the end of it all, then they regret it. They go, man, I had a good guy and I let him go.
Yep.
But that's because just don't play the games. Don't play the games. Don't have the drama. And also give people a chance. Give people a chance. Give people an opportunity. Don't immediately go into a relationship expecting perfection. Because again, like I said earlier, perfection is a lie. For the rest of my life, I'll work. For the rest of my life, I'll work to make this work. For the rest of my life, I'll work to make money. For the rest of my life, I'll work to build my children into upstanding, valuable people in life, in society, in the community. And
sorry. And I also want to say, like, don't expect perfection, and also don't act like you're perfect either. Like, there's always two sides, and I don't know why or how after 3 months we got married and 10 years later it's still working. I don't know, but
married, kids, boom, boom, boom. It moved fast. But I think, like I said, I think the reason, I think it was God willing as well. But I think also it's because both of us, as you can see us together here, we really meshed well together. But here's the thing too. I don't want anybody taking this and just being like, it's because we met our soulmate, which I think we did. But also there was a lot of work involved in this. I messed up a lot in the beginning. I was an alcoholic, am an alcoholic. 9 years clean, coming up in February?
In February, yeah.
And my drinking, I'm not trying to push it off and make an excuse for it. Like that was the reason for my behavior, but my that
had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, my drinking facilitated my terrible behavior and my stupid decisions.
Well, I also
but I also think that part of that was my lack of self-worth and lack of confidence as well. So we've grown together. Like she didn't find this perfect chiseled individual that you see before you, this amazing chiseled Chris Hemsworth looking guy who's also got an amazing personality and is like the best in bed. She didn't find this. Like I formed this.
I know.
We built this together. We built this together. Out loud.
But yeah, I was saying like your parents were like
terrible.
Toxic. No, like as
the worst. Just a terrible word. I'm just kidding.
We like had two different like the extremes. Like your parents were argued a lot, from what I gathered.
Yeah, my dad C-worded all the time.
And my parents like didn't really talk that much.
My dad should have been English. Well, because they call each other that constantly, but over there it's like,
well,
cool.
Actually, yeah.
Like, oh, you're right, cunt.
Oh, you might get flagged for that.
No, because I said it in a British accent.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so like that's what I mean. Like, too good for us because like we didn't have modeling of healthy relationships.
Over there, it's like a term of endearment. Sorry.
So I think that's pretty cool. But I also think we are both the type that we kind of want to do the opposite of what we've seen growing up. Because I grew up in a family of drinkers and I'm like not a drinker. I have never been. I mean, I've had my couple times of being drunk, but like it was never one of those things. But I also think that part of the issue was that kind of masks any of the bad feelings that you may have had about your self-worth and all that. So it was easy to mask it with alcohol.
I used it to like cover it up. Yeah.
Right. But like the hardest part is after you quit drinking. Emotionally and mentally, the hardest part is after. But yeah.
But that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining us. Because we can go on forever, especially when it starts to get like to talking about our relationship and stuff. Because I feel like we did. I mean, we're pretty perfect. I mean, it's hard, but that's why people like sometimes don't like us too, because they see this and they're just like, "Oh man,"
because we're
look at how happy those guys are together. Sometimes people don't like happiness. When you see a happy couple, why don't you go over and be like, "Hey, what's the trick? Why are you guys so happy together? And why are you so pleased with each other?"
In public, we still like hold hands and be close and talk and kiss and stuff. So like, and I don't see that. I don't see that when we go out in the community.
We be making out. And stuff. We be making out, and we're in our 40s. Who's in their 40s and makes out still?
I'm 30.
I don't even remember seeing my parents kiss. Anyways, So for the next episode, for episode 7, make sure you tune in. We're going to be talking about parenting without losing your mind. So we're going to start getting a little more into the children side of this. So make sure you join us then about disciplining philosophies and screens and chores and routines and bringing them up to be upstanding, great people. Which actually we even spoke about that a little bit in this.
Yeah, and which I'm glad that it's segueing into it, because I want to talk about gentle parenting and how I disagree with it.
And maybe even sprinkle in gentle coaching there too a little bit.
Yeah, coaching.
Like I have that written down, coaching. Because like a lot of people nowadays are really getting into this whole like, you're not allowed to yell at my kid. Which
and I'm
Sheena and I are like, yell at him, spank him right in front of everyone.
Like,
we don't care.
You tell him who's boss.
Like, unless there's a reason that the kid has a reason to talk back. Like I said, I'm both sides of it. Like, I'm both respect authority, but also fight back against authority when you feel like there's a reason that you need to be fighting back.
If you have a valid reason with evidence to back it up, and I think there's a time and place for it too.
And usually we like ended on some little fun stuff, but I don't have anything to think of. Like, there's really not like because I'm always like, hey, make sure you watch the fights tonight or blah blah blah.
Yeah,
whatever.
There's nothing.
And
Hey,
there's
guess
no
what?
Snowstorm.
No snowstorm, but guess what? The kids' basketball games got canceled, so we get to relax all day.
Yep, and go get McDonald's and eat McDonald's and veg out.
Yeah,
and watch some Greenland too.
Yeah, and if that's something that you need to do to decompress and spend time together on
and Greenland 1 was a great movie, so if you haven't seen it, go see it. And Greenland 2 hopefully will be just as good.
And Gerard Butler is still sexy.
And we love you guys, and thank you again for joining us. And we hope to see you all again soon.
Yeah, next week will probably be the same time. Always on a Saturday. I didn't get a chance to hurry up and put a reminder.
But the time would have been wrong anyway, because we didn't know that they were going to cancel. So it was supposed to be actually at like what, 3:45 we were going to go live.
Yeah.
But instead we did noon.
You just rhymed.
I know. I keep trying to do it with a 5 at the end. So like we should do like 12:05. We're going live.
Okay.
So just remember that.
Or 11:55.
Or 11:55. We're going live. I like 12:05. Because we go over a little bit anyway.
Yeah, we always go over.
But we love you guys very much, and we thank you, and we appreciate. We're grateful for everybody who listens. We're grateful for everyone who joins in. We're grateful for all of you.
And Jesus loves you.
And Jesus loves you. He loves all of us. Peace. Peace.
Deuces.